So you're listening to the Sports Garage Extra with me, Sami Moraya.
And my name's and my name's and my name's Ndenga Wodinga.
Well, Shadi, I think we need to pull the other microphone for you as we start. But all the same, we are here with Shadi. Unfortunately, our colleague Karaoke Thige is bereaved. And so he's not here with us this afternoon. But Shadi and I will take you through some of the round of 32 matches that have already happened so far, and round of 16, sorry, and some of the surprises that we are already starting to see there. And we will kick these off, of course, from Saturday, because there are some matches that were played on Saturday. And I know Shadi and Thige took you through these. Argentina beating Cape Verde by 3-2. Colombia beating Ghana towards the end of that match by 1-0. But where I want us to pick it up from Shadi is Canada versus Morocco. This game was played at 8 p.m. on Saturday. And Morocco emerged 3-0 winners. And the goals were scored by Unahi on the 50th and 82nd minute, and Rahimi scoring the late winner on the 98th minute to break the hearts of the core hosts that are Canada. And at this particular juncture, I can convincingly say all the core hosts have been kicked out of the World Cup. So we're talking about Mexico, Canada, as well as the United States of America, who were bundled out this morning. But let's talk about this game between Morocco and Canada, because this was a very dominant display by Morocco, and they're showing people why they are favorites and one of the strongest teams that we have in Africa.
Most definitely, I think it was a good statement, especially after having 8 out of 10 teams that came to the World Cup be bundled out. So I believe Morocco's statement on Canada was something huge, also based on the quality, individual brilliance that the Moroccan players have as in regards to Canada. All that Canada has is hype, nothing else. The 12th man is the one that pushes them. So for them, achieving that feat, a round of 16, that was the best that they could offer.
Well, round of 16, that was the best that they could offer. But they still did try. They still did make it there. And of course, they did so not quite convincingly, because if you look at some of their results, especially for the Canadians, it's been scrapping through for them so far. So a lot of questions that were asked, but they still have a lot in terms of just looking at the Canadian team, because most of the players are pretty young, players that are starting to emerge at this particular moment, and players that have a huge future, having played in a World Cup at home.
Pretty much. However, something to note better is that we are now starting to see a lot of Canadian players after Alphonso Davies left for Bayern Munich. They are following suit. We are seeing a lot of players, youngsters, that are now getting developed in top European clubs academies, and the next World Cup probably might be their World Cup now to try and showcase what they do have probably to offer in the world of football, because when you're now having top players, and this particular World Cup really didn't work out for Alphonso Davies, because he came to this World Cup on the verge of recovering from an injury, so probably he was just used as an experienced player in the dressing room, but it's a work in progress. Jesse March, a brilliant coach, an American coach who has worked with a lot of youth players, did coach a team in the English Premier League, so probably that is the right man maybe to develop that team. So this was not a Canada for now, this is the Canada for the future.
Well, this is Canada for the future. Now, there's another match that I want us to particularly talk about, and that is a game that was played on Sunday morning in the early hours of the morning. That was a game between Paraguay and France. And the main reason why I want us to talk about this game is not the result per se, but some of the stuff that has happened afterwards. Well, in this particular game, Kylian Mbappe scored via a penalty. But then, since then, we've had some developments where there has been an exchange between Mbappe and a senator from Paraguay called Marila. She's a lady. And basically, what happened is after that particular match, Amarilla, in two social media posts, launched a vicious personal attack against the Real Madrid forward, calling him stupid and criticizing him for allegedly refusing to shake hands with Orlando Gil, Paraguay's goalkeeper. She also advised Gil that he should have given Mbappe the middle finger. So that's exactly what she said. Mbappe yesterday coming out to defend himself, and he spoke out against the racist comments made by the Paraguay senator. And yesterday, he literally wrote on his X account, and he branded the Senator Celeste Amarilla a despicable woman unworthy of her office. The French Football Federation also issued a statement yesterday calling the politician's comments racist and utterly abhorrent and unacceptable, which is also saying that, while also saying that they will take judicial action. So this is an issue, and just let me just go through what Mbappe said, because it's only fair for in terms of just giving context here. Mbappe also wrote, "You are a despicable woman and unworthy of your position. You do not represent Paraguay, that country which has sweated passion and honor throughout the competition. Through your recklessness and your brazen racism, the entire world has already forgotten the journey and the historic effort that your players accomplished during this World Cup, making way for an incompetent woman who gives the worst possible image of her country. I will never allow people like her the freedom to spread their hatred and racism across the world." So the full statement from the French Federation says, "The racist remarks by Paraguayan Senator Celeste Amarilla targeting Kylian Mbappe are utterly abhorrent and unacceptable." Paraguay Vice President Pedro Aliana deplored Amarilla's remarks, saying, "Football is an expression of brotherhood. It should unite countries and people within the passions and emotions of its realm. There is no room for any form of discrimination." And another statement by Paraguay Congresswoman Johanna Ortega was also critical of Amarilla, saying of the France-Paraguay match, "On the field, we are adversaries, but off it, we are united by far more. Respect, dignity, and the pursuit of equality among all people. As a member of the Paraguayan Congress, my solidarity and my apologies to the French people." So Mbappe has so far scored 7 goals alongside Lionel Messi and Erling Haaland. But in terms of looking at the leaderboard for this year's World Cup, assists are also coming in very critical, and so that means that the top scorer at this particular moment is Mbappe, because he has 7 goals and 2 assists. Messi has no assists at this particular point. I don't know what your thoughts are, because I know you have done this particular story on this racism issue, and of course it's coming out that Amarilla is being criticized not just by the French but her own people, because the vice president has come out to defend Mbappe. There's a congresswoman who's come out to do the same, and it's only Amarilla that happens to be on a side where she feels that Mbappe was a racist.
I think the issues of race or tribalism or ethnicity, whichever, will never end. This is something, it's a historical something that has been there. I think of this particular case, Mbappe just belittled himself. If I was Mbappe, the superstar that he is, the global icon that he is, he had his own reasons, because if you watch the game against Paraguay, the Paraguayans actually didn't come to play. They came to fight. And for that particular reason, a lot of French players felt like this was a match, and winning that match was a little bit difficult for them. And when they won, they actually felt like actually the Paraguayans were their behavior was unsporting. It is sad that the referee, we didn't even see a yellow card, leave alone a red card. Some of the tackles in that particular game were very, very, very dangerous. Some of the words spoken in Paraguayan, there's a rule that when you cover your mouth, they didn't cover their mouth. So we are going to get a report from RIP leaders by the end of this week, but they were very, very ugly words. That angered Mbappe and company. And so when they won, they had every right not to shake their hands, because these guys didn't come to play. And for that particular matter, of course, Mbappe, who's now being seen as the global icon, will come under fire. And I don't think he was right to answer Marilla. If I was him, I wouldn't answer Marilla. Let the authorities take whatever decision that it will take. Because in this particular case, are you sure even the Paraguayan government or the Paraguayan parliamentarians are remorseful, or we are doing some sport washing in this? Are they coming here for PR, or they really mean when they say that these guys are not racist? Because behind the tents, I can easily call you a chimpanzee. But for the cameras, I can easily say that you look good, you're handsome, so that the country, the global image sees that we are not actually those kind of particular people. So in this particular case, I feel it from Mbappe and company, because the French squad has a lot of black players. And just keep quiet and keep on matching. Let them continue arguing, let them say whatever they say. One thing for sure, you'll never take away Mbappe's talent away from him. It doesn't matter whatever you say. It doesn't matter whatever he says or he does to you. It's just like Cristiano Ronaldo. He might choose to answer you or not. You're not going to take whatever he's done in the history of football, or Messi for that matter. These are global icons. Whatever they've done in the world of football, you cannot take that away from them. Whatever abilities that they do have, those are abilities that are God-given. You are either born with them or you don't. It's as simple as that. So just keep quiet and continue life.
Well, I was Google searching because I thought it's important for us to also get context in terms of population in Paraguay, and the black population is very minimal in Paraguay. It stands at around 1%, but still they've had black players in the past. So I will come out and say it is really wrong for somebody and a nation where they have been represented by black athletes in the past to come out and make racist comments. And a country that still has a black population, we should not even be seeing much of these. And while I agree with you that there could be some sanitization that is happening with this particular process, but we also literally have to ask ourselves, already we have black people in Paraguay, and these are constituents of some of the people that have spoken here, including the vice president. So I tend to believe that there's some honesty to what they are saying, especially for them to come out publicly and criticize their own.
I don't think so. I still continue to differ, because we are looking at the history of black people in South America. Where did black people in South America come from? These were slaves that came there, because South America, basically in countries like along the Amazon strip, there's a lot of sugarcane and maize. So they came to work on those plantations. But by the abolition of slave trade, if you read that history, a lot of black people were actually killed in Argentina and countries like Paraguay, and dumped in countries like Colombia, El Salvador, Ecuador, and Brazil. And now, even if you go to Argentina, there's still a lot of racism, and you rarely find an Argentina black person. They used to be there, but because they were killed publicly, even though the streets. The Paraguayan case is no different. Yes, there is a very little population. I'm just forgetting the year, but 2010 I was still in the US, but there was a senator that came out publicly. Maybe if you can Google it, I'm not sure you're going to find it, because at one time it raised a lot of heat that they had to pull it down. But there's a senator that came and publicly say, if you're not as white as us, you're not going to play for any national team in Paraguay. That is how bad it has been in those particular countries. That's why I'm coming out strongly to say, are we sure that these people are speaking this for the purposes of sport washing, or do they mean the sentiments that they are actually saying, that this is actually what we mean, that we are against discrimination or racism for that particular matter? Because in these particular countries, and you can check it online later, Paraguay, even Uruguay and Argentina, black people have had the worst of their times there. They've had the worst of their times there. And even if you go to countries like the United States of America, a lot of black people that have come from those particular countries, they've actually ran away from what you call persecutions, maybe they're religiously or politically, simply because of your skin color. And now you are being found in a place of an in-between where you don't know where you came from, because a black person originated from African continent. That's how they are found in the other continents because of the slave trade. Now, these people are persecuted there. So Paraguay does not have a good history with black people. And for that particular matter, I tend to disagree. Even if the government is coming out, they are just post-washing. They don't mean this. And that's the reason why I say, if I was Mbappe, just keep quiet. Let them fight.
Well, keep quiet, let them fight. And for Kenyans that are following these at this particular moment, I think I also need to just point out something very interesting. A very interesting fact that the black population in Paraguay are mostly Kambas. They're called Kambakua.
Machakos.
So basically, and you know, it's interesting when you also listen to some Brazilians speak, you can hear that Kamba in them. Some of the languages around Eastern Africa, so DRC, Kenya, and
also the other thing, during that abolition of slave trade, a lot of black people were forced into the Amazon forest.
Yes.
And some of them actually had to run away. That's why when you go deep into the Amazon forest, especially the Brazilian place known as Bahia, you'll find a lot of black people there. They found ways to survive through the forest, and now that's the origin of the black people within the South American communities. Except for Colombia.
Colombia has very many blacks, by the way.
They live in the street, they intermingle. Even see the national team. Yes. Another team to El Salvador and Ecuador. Also, you'll find a lot of black people. So they didn't have a problem as compared to these other countries. But also, one person.
Brazil also has a very huge black population.
But it has a huge black population, but they have a problem with black players. Look at even their national majority. Yeah, but look at their national team. Hey. Come on, they criticized Rivaldo one day for missing a penalty at Copa America.
Very true.
Vinicius Junior amekumbushwa kwa ni Cameroon. Henrik is yet. We are yet to see him. You know, we are yet to see him. These are players that they are now following their roots, and most of them they'll find their roots in Angola. Those countries that were colonized with the Portuguese, Angola, Mozambique, Cape Verde. You'll find a lot of them there. But also they've had a lot of problems with black people, and a lot of black people in Brazil actually live in their slums known as favelas. Yeah, so they are secluded to those people that are selling drugs, criminals, and it's a community that is what we call a low class community. So better still, so to speak, what has now put Brazil on the map, we are finding a lot of black players now that even lifted the World Cup, Akina Jazinho.
Yes.
Those
Pele,
are heroes.
Pele.
We can't forget Pele.
The most spoken about Brazilian player is black.
It's black. Yeah, we cannot. And a lot of even the Olympians, they are black. So for that particular purpose, you can say, for that particular matter, because of that race, it's just like in America. You cannot ignore the black person, because when you go to Olympics, who's getting the gold medals, either in sprints or basketball. So there are particular sports that the only sports that you don't find a lot of black people is in the US are maybe swimming, maybe a little bit of baseball, but now they're getting in there. Tennis, now we started seeing Serena Williams. So there are some even sports that were secluded to this particular race. So the issue of racism, to me, especially in that part of America, because I've lived in the US, and when you go to South and North America, even Canada, they try to look a little bit lenient. We are welcoming. Come here. We don't care where you're from, as long as you don't have a criminal record. But for those people that have lived there, they'll tell you there's some ish, especially when you're now headed to the places like Alberta. Because when you go to Alberta, that's a typical white zone. Especially when you come to the US, you come to mid-continents like Oklahoma, typical red zone. So the issues of race is big. The issues of race should be condemned. But again, historically, is this thing, will it ever go away? For me, just do your thing. Just do your thing. It will never go away.
Well, let's just do our thing. And the most important thing is also sometimes, and I like the fact that you're asking, can we end racism? Yes, I believe it can be ended. And I believe FIFA is headed towards the right direction with these bans of covering your mouth and everything. And you know, sometimes racism is not just whites on blacks. We also have blacks that hate whites
a lot,
and they
go to New York.
Oh yeah, and they talk a lot of trash. So
Where?
for anybody that is listening to these,
It goes both ways.
Exactly. Don't think that we are biased towards our own Africans, but when it's wrong, it's wrong. It has to be called out. And in this particular case of Maria, I think it was important to just call her out because she's the one who started it. Mbappe has come out to defend himself. However, she's making an allegation by saying, and I can't remember the exact quote, but she said that Mbappe shouted some words in French that were actually racist. So let's wait and see where the FIFA investigation goes, because they will listen to both sides, both ends.
And this morning she says she's going to sue Mbappe for gender-based violence.
Oh yeah, I saw
Mbappe
that.
amemtukana.
Yeah, I saw that. And so anyway, we'll wait and see what happens. But now that we are talking about Brazil have been bundled. My Brazil were bundled out by the Norwegians, and I want us to talk about these Vikings because, to be honest, a very interesting fact, even before they played, is the fact that Brazil has never beaten Norway before. They've faced each other. Let me tell you how many times.
It was 4 before.
Yeah.
Before
so
these.
now they have faced each other. Yeah. 5 times.
5 times.
And
now.
out of the 5 times, Norway has won. There's no draw in this particular fixture. Norway has won all of them. And coming into this match, a lot of people, of course, were not expecting Erling Haaland to be the star of the match, but he ended up picking his rivalry. And please, for the sake of I have to pick this up because the person he picked up the battle against was Gabriel Magalhaes.
Yeah.
And each time he beat Gabriel. And you can tell that this is something that was picked up from. You remember that match where
the Man City
Arsenal game and Gabriel tore Haaland's shirt, and Haaland was complaining to the referee, and the referee never did anything. So this was the best way for him to come back and punish Gabriel.
And now that tells a big player and an ordinary player. Gabriel actually shut out this guy for 80 minutes. And actually, he just forgot about him. And it reminds me of a certain striker here in Kenya, John Baraza. When Baraza.
Oh, okay.
Not John
Not
Baraza, but the strikers of Kapa. Yes. Baresi was a midfielder. So John Baraza, in his retirement, is the only player that has been top scorer for Kenyan League 4 times. And when he was at Sopapaka playing against him, he will just go silent. You'll just shut him out completely. And you'll forget about him. And in the 90th minute, he will score. 92nd minute will score. I remember a game a game against Nzoi at Nyayo. He scored from the 89th to the 94th. That guy has a hat-trick and we're like, huyu jamaa amekuwa wapi? Wewe umemgonga tu anakuangalia. He just watches you. That's the difference between a big player and an ordinary player. Remember, we are talking about a player who's not good on the feet. The only thing that Haaland knows is to score. He's not a ball player. He's not going to dance with the ball. There's nothing that you're going to see that will excite you. If you wanted to see good strikers, then you have to go back and look for Ronaldo Nazario, Romario, Samuel Eto'o. Those will excite you. One-on-one. Didier Drogba.
Didier Drogba is the kind of striker you're talking about.
Yes.
Because I can tell you so many matches where Mourinho would leave Didier Drogba on.
Yeah.
And everyone is wondering what Didier Drogba is doing in the field because you can't see him. Then he just scores one goal from nowhere.
Yeah. So Erling Haaland to me is a big player because and you would watch Gabriel Magalhaes bullying him, throwing him on the floor, but still when Gabriel Magalhaes forgot about him, a split second that guy went up in the air, scored a header. Second, he was given an opportunity and were like, come on Gabriel, and ajaza hapo. The moment that guy controlled the ball, akaiskuma mbele, the next thing is to shoot. They were caught ball watching. It's like they now fear to go to him. Erling Haaland is not a dribbler. Hata kupiga chobo, he will never beat you one-on-one. If you narrow him, he returns the ball back. That's defending. He had already done that for a good chunk of the 70 minutes. Why could he would have done that for that the last? Because I believe at least even if Bruno Guimaraes had lost that penalty, 1-1 would have been fair. They would have pushed that match. In as much as Norway, in terms of possession and control of the game, they were the better side than Brazil. But for that particular matter, it just makes you now not to like Gabriel Magalhaes. Whatever he's done in this World Cup, brilliant defending, but for that particular game, that last mistake. The header, I could argue, you could not argue with the header. Erling Haaland is a big guy and very, very strong. Very, very few defenders will probably go and win a header over his head. So maybe you can call out Alisson Becker will be like, hey, defend that ball. So come out with your hands and catch that ball. I won't go a one-on-one header with Erling Haaland. But this last goal, you could have defended that goal. Because he received the ball, took his time, adjusted his body, and shot. Where are the where was Casemiro? Where are these guys? Yeah, go narrow him down. Because football is about, let me remind you, England versus DRC. Harry Kane, leave alone the header. His second goal. He took the ball and actually went out of target. And what did the DRC defenders do? They looked at him, go. This guy's looking for space. He's looking for space. One shot, imeshika kila mtu off guard.
The moment he got his space, because he got his space.
He's looking for space. So continue narrowing him down. And that's one thing that makes me love this defender from Portugal, Nuno Mendes. The guy was injured last night. Nuno Mendes atenda na wewe mpaka mwisho. Defend like Sami Omolo Pamzo back in the 90s. Yeah, and that's why they called him Otima Viatu. He will go with you to the touchline and not give you an opportunity to even put on a shoes and come back. Defend that old school type. So for me, for that particular, I think this one was just too much for Brazil. It's heartbreaking seeing such a big nation like Brazil crashing out against Norway, but it was an opportunity to break the jinx. Again, Carlos Ancelotti, he's been learning as he goes on. He didn't have a guaranteed starter in his front line except for Vinicius Junior. Wengine wamekuwa na bahatisha. So this was a good opportunity now to bring in ball players because the Norwegians are bigger guys and very, very physical. You need players that can dance with the ball. Get ball players that will dance. Play around them. Tricksters. 1998, they had a player known as Denilson. Remember Denilson?
Oh, very well.
He will just come.
Denilson used to be brought on the 70th.
Yes.
Just come and frustrate him.
Frustrate you, akupige machobo, and lock the defense. Because remember the semi-final against Holland. It was very, very deadlocked. They're actually getting out. Kama si Ronaldo kufanya maajabu yake. Denilson unlocked the game for them. So this time around, you always need that kind of a player. That kind of a player that will unlock the game for you. And they do have Vinicius, they have Neymar, they have players that can unlock the game. Why not bring them early? Why not start them? So for Carlo Ancelotti also gambled a lot. He came in this particular tournament not knowing his team. I think the only place that he at least tried to get it right was the defense, and when he brought in Danilo for Aritonani Kubanyo or some Bakuna. But these are the guys that are just gambling. So if he won't be fired, he still has another opportunity now to build a team, build a good team. The only problem I have with Ancelotti, he puts a lot of trust in I don't want to say mechanical older players.
Old players. Don't be scared to say it.
Yeah, but Brazil is known for samba. What is samba? It's tiki-taka with flair. It's as simple as that. Chukua tu hiyo kitu Spain wanafanya. Sasa lete mchere ngano. That is samba. So Brazil bila mtu mchere ngano, you're not watching Brazil. There's no one that gives you some excitement. So bring those kind of players. So I don't know if he'd survive this. There's a lot of backlash. There's a lot of backlash coming from that country, especially the media actually pushing for him because now, again, we're going back to the same story that we had started this topic in the racism. Uchalisi wetu. If Mexico would have kicked out England, uchali arudi Germany. Yes. So now they are saying, come on, do we not have enough Brazilian coaches that can lead this team? I was listening to someone this morning as coming off from City Stadium. There were a lot of roadblocks, and they were actually just a banter ya mtaa. Sasa makarao wametuzuia, lakini unajua kuna Wakenya wamefukuzwa huko South Africa. Na ube ni makadhi anafanya nini hapa? Uja mahali podoa kwende, si upatie matano hii kitu. And we are headed towards Budhurwa. So either way, it will boil down to that. And for me, I feel for Carlo Ancelotti, it is unfortunate he's a much decorated coach. I don't know if he'll see off his contract, but in case he sees off his contract, he still have another opportunity now to make Brazil great. But again, let us not, because we've seen him having a good team at AC Milan, Akina Kaká, Pato, they were very, very good players. Get those players to Brazil. Let them now make Brazil great again.
Well, now this is my personal feeling. As far as Don Carlo is concerned, I feel Don Carlo is not going to be fired.
Ataka.
In fact,
he's
Don
Italian,
Carlo,
though.
Yes, but Don Carlo will be the Brazilian coach in 2030. Because the argument right now, if you look, and I've also been following up since yesterday, even as the media has been criticizing, there are some who are coming out to point out a very big fact, which is Carlo has only been at the realm for 2 years. So basically, that is not enough time for you to build a team to play in a championship. So there's an argument that he's played in this one. Allow him to now build a team. You see the same argument that you have, because there's a bit of sentimentalism that comes in with certain players. Because I can tell you, as much as you're talking about Neymar, Neymar was not Don Carlo's choice.
He didn't want
president.
Yes,
it was the president.
Yeah, he didn't want him.
In fact, even now, Neymar announced yesterday that he's retiring from the Brazilian national team. The president has come out to tell him no.
Tulia.
I believe you can win this cup in 2030. So basically, there is also that political interference, which is something that we have spoken about here before.
Scolari, Romario,
exactly. Where now a coach is forced to take certain players for the sentiment of the nation as well as the president. And you'll find even him being played in this tournament was all about Carlo being told, you know what, this guy, you took him there. He has to play. And at some point, we had the same president joking about Neymar and saying that Neymar is the first ever work from home footballer. Like basically, he was named in the team and he was not playing, because you remember the first few games he was not fit, and he was. I think the first game he didn't even come to the stadium to watch it. So a few dynamics there that people can discuss. But hey, it is what it is. Brazil were kicked out, and right now it is Norway that are proceeding, and they are going into a very interesting game, because the game between them and Spain is going to be a very, very hot match, a brilliant match to watch. But I don't want us to go there, because I want us to talk about England and Mexico, because I listened to you on Saturday. Yeah, I might not have been here, but I listened. And I remember you really criticizing Jude Bellingham. And I think he might have listened to your conversation
and rose up to the occasion.
Because, boss, that guy turned up. Against Mexico, he fought. As in, I've watched Bellingham, and at times I felt he's a lazy player.
Yeah.
At times I have felt he does not give his all for the shirt that he wears.
And he doesn't play with others.
But yesterday I saw a different Bellingham.
There's something I like about English players, and especially players that, and that's one thing that Ancelotti mentioned out when he coached Cristiano Ronaldo at Real Madrid. He said that this guy, when it comes now to fighting, he can fight. And that's one thing they learn in England, that when we go down, we can really go down and dig into the mud. That was a match to fight. Despite the Kwanzaa red card, these really guys showed up, and basically they will take you down. And for that particular effort, you have to give that up to them. But when you talk about now the general play, the kind of midfielders that I do love, attacking midfielders, they are midfielders that involved others into play. Midfielders that ball players that can play. And I'll take you back to Neymar. When Neymar starts to hit a 1-2, he goes ta ta ta. But Bellingham is a surging forward. He can play so well as a second striker. When you bring those crosses, ataingia nazo. Look at even the goals he scores. He's not a beautiful player. He just bora ni bao. He goes for it. He has the winning mentality. But now my criticism to him was now when you possess the ball, when we are looking for that game, for that goal, and we want to interplay with strikers, how do we create the opportunities for the striker? How do we open up play? I'll give you an example of Odegaard at Arsenal or Norway. Did you see what he was doing for the Brazil games? He opens up play. He holds the balls and look for Erling Haaland of Alexander Soloth. That is the kind of midfielder now you're talking that is very, very good behind the strikers. However, though, we cannot ignore Bellingham's factor. That in as much as that striker won't score, he will score that goal. So it is very, very important. Different dynamics, different type of players, but my choice won't really be a Bellingham type of player. Simply because I love to see play. I love the play. He's just a finisher. He'll get into the second,
which he did yesterday.
Yeah, he'll get into even if you listen to me on Saturday, I said his first season at Real Madrid, he was the club's top scorer.
Yeah.
He scored, I think, 20 goals or 19 goals. And there was Vinicius then, Junior. Now coming the second year, wakaanza kugombana, Mbappe, nini. Because all these players, they want you as the midfielder.
They want to be the center of attention.
And leave alone that, because I once played as in high school, I played as a striker. If you're playing behind me, how am I going to score if you're not going in the ball?
True. A
striker needs the ball.
True.
I'll remind you back Dennis Oliech, Titus Mulama saga. When Titus Mulama was get off, and now Oliech was like, in as much as
scoring, it's true.
He had played. We played at youth level like in a Jamal, but he looked at them like, come on, talita ball lini.
Oh, it's true.
When is it coming? I want the ball. Because Mulama was a direct space. Let's go. Strikers always want the ball. If you're not giving. Perfect example, Didier Drogba, John Obi Mikel. Didier Drogba actually went and told Mourinho, if he's not giving me the ball, bench him. Put a CN there. Didier Drogba dictated, he wanted a midfielder that will give him the ball. Diego Costa and Fabregas. Diego Costa went up to Antonio Conte, told him, get me Fabregas, I will score. If Fabregas is playing and I won't score, I'll get out. Fabregas comes in, he gives him the ball. So every striker wants the ball. And that for that particular match, I don't see Bellingham playing so much with the strikers. In as much as he's important, as a midfielder, he's big, he can win the ball. But maybe something going forward that can be attractive to a Bellingham is a Bellingham that plays more with the strikers.
Well, a Bellingham that plays more with the strikers. Let's talk about the hurricane factor, because two of those assists for Bellingham's goals were his, and he scored a penalty late on. Despite the Mexican goalkeeper literally showing him where to hit the ball, he hit the ball there with so much power, a brilliant goal, though a penalty, and he's also showing the sort of captain that he is for England and the leader that he is in that team.
He's a big player, big moments. This is where you know a big player. A big player will show up a big moment. And for me, Harry Kane always top. Against DRC though, because DRC, those are fellow Africans, he showed up for England, but I want to fault my fellow Africans for giving him space.
Too much space.
Too much space. You don't give that kind of a player any opportunity. If you're going to get the ball, pumulia kukwenyu, hata usikaribia hapa. But for Mexico, he showed up as a leader, taking that penalty responsibility. I'm the captain, I'm going to take it. Going back to Brazil, there's a row of penalty between Vinicius and Guimarães and blah, 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 blah. But I believe big players should take that responsibility, not go the Ancelotti's hierarchy order. If you're a big player, take that ball. Because, this is a big stage. It is Navi. Leave alone where as a player, even the fans, you looking at them and the cameras, and you could see someone sweating. So you need a big player. How many times has Bruno Guimarães played for Brazil? And how many times has Vinicius Jr. been on that stage?
Vinicius has been there several times.
Champions League, Real Madrid, for that Brazil. So give him that penalty. Let him do his wonders. So for me, this is where the hurricane factor comes in. He's a big player who knows the stage. So he uses that stage correctly. And now this is whereby I wanted Neymar to be in that particular match and actually start.
Well, Neymar starts that particular match. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. He came in as a substitute. But I think this is where we'll also start asking questions about England, because I'll be very honest, I was one of the skeptics. I didn't think England were going to get this far. But somehow they're scrapping through the results. And 10-man England beating Mexico 3-2 yesterday morning to make it through to the round of 16. Now, let's talk about another game that was played last night, Shadi. And that game was between Portugal and Spain. And this match saw a legend who has the only player to score in 6 different World Cups, and a player that has won 4 Ballon d'Ors, a player that is a legend of the game today, and who we suspect might have bowed out of the World Cup. And I say suspect because some of these players have also a way of surprising you. I might not be surprised if I see him coming back for Portugal in 2030.
Actually, this morning he just said that, hey, I'm not yet done. So Portuguese media, when we did the story in the morning, they are saying probably he's looking for the next Euros in should be, I think, in Scotland. It will be co-hosted.
Yes,
it will be co-hosted 2028. So Ronaldo probably saying, I'm still there. I haven't told you that I'm retiring. And if he does make it for the Euros in 2028, he'll be around 43. And those are the kind of players that now. How do I say? Mali ya serikali. He's like a Neymar.
He's a pensioner.
He's like a Neymar. Neymar, whether you love him or hate him, you'll get a call from State
From
House.
the president.
Yeah, so there's a huge probability that we might see Cristiano Ronaldo in 2028 in the Euros, and you don't know what will happen from there. You don't know what will happen from there because the Cristiano Ronaldo factor is huge, not just to the country, but also to a lot of people.
To the global game.
To the global game, to FIFA itself. In this particular World Cup, if Cristiano Ronaldo angekuja na Messi angekuja, I don't think FIFA ingetengeneza hii pesa mingi iko hapa. Let us be honest.
They are pulling crowds.
They are pulling crowds. People are coming towards these particular 2 people. People are coming towards these old guys. We are not coming towards the new guys. No. This is a World Cup that has superstars. It is the first World Cup whereby your swing top scorers wakisukumana.
Na hata 7 goals, by the way. It has never happened. We have 3 players on 7 goals.
Yeah. Na hata hiyo akina Lewandowski wakukuja. This is a World Cup with the talent. Lakini tunaangalia wazee wawili. Two old people that their names will never leave unless they decide to leave.
Well, 2 old people, but then one of them has been bundled out. The other is actually playing tonight.
Against Egypt.
Messi is playing against Egypt later on. And we will have 2 old men there who basically are also signing out of the World Cup stage in Messi and Mo Salah. And Egypt really fighting in their last match to make it here, being able to show what it is that they are made of. And a lot of people did not expect them to make it through, but make it through, they did. And they come into this match, of course, knowing that historically, they've lost to Argentina, and this is a team that has the edge over them. They come in as the underdog. Is that going to be the case?
Have you played chess?
I do play chess.
You're lucky because I just started the other day. And one thing I realized with chess, that's the reason when I played in the US, a good coach of mine used to tell me, if you want to go far, play chess. Chess opens up your mind as a footballer because you know how to use limited space.
Is it limited space or even just sacrificing?
Even just sacrificing.
Sacrificing your pawns and everything.
Exactly. So, kama unaweza cheza chess, Egypt, approach that game like a chess game. Make sure the smallest available space mumeziba. Cape Verde way. That's one thing that was the success story of Cape Verde. That they know how to shut out the small spaces. I wish Egypt all the best.
Well, wish Egypt all the best is all we can do. I really wanted us to talk about the game between Belgium and the United States of America, but unfortunately, time is not on our side.
The arrogant ones have gone home.
They've gone home. And this is after having a red card reversed and Balogun played, but that was not enough. That's all we had time for. See you again on Friday, same time, too.
Keep it Radio Generation for updates on World Cup news.